You guys, we have some PARALIVES news. Finally, some brand new PARALIVES news. I'm a little bit late on this, and there's some other things that I also want to talk about in today's video too. Some older PARALIVES news that I actually didn't even see. I don't even know how I didn't see it. All right, so before we move any further, a little briefing for those of you that do not know, in case you're clicking on this and you don't know much about PARALIVES. PARALIVES is an upcoming indie life simulation game. Now, keep in mind, there is no release date for it at this time. They have still not announced one. They are in early development. That is what we know right now as of this moment. But today in this video, we are going to be talking about this GIF that they shared regarding heterochromia. A Twitter user asked, is there going to be an option for different colored eyes, which is known as heterochromia? And they confirmed, yes, there is. They show us the different eye colors on the paras as well as the heterochromia in effect, being able to change both of them at the same time, or of course select if you want to change the left eye or the right eye color. We actually don't have this as a feature in The Sims 4 at the moment. I remember when they first revealed the paras back when we got that video for Maggie. I don't know if you guys remember that. I was just in love with the art style and in love with the graphics, and I don't know if it's just me and I don't know if anyone else has thought about this, but I'm going to say it because it's been a thought in my mind. Something feels different about the art style. I don't know what it is, but it doesn't look as good as it did previously. Maybe it's just me. I don't know if they're changing a few things around or if they're showing us like a different version of what they're working on, but I just thought that I would point it out and just see if like anyone else has thought the same thing. It still looks great. Like that's not the problem. I just noticed how like the textures on this Paris shirt don't look as like defined as they did before. And the collarbone looks just a little bit pixelated. I'm not complaining in any sort of way. I want to say that before everyone attacks me because everyone's gonna go, Matt, how dare you? This looks perfect, it looks fine. And I'm always like speaking so highly of this game, but it was just something that I noticed. It was an observation, so I just wanted to point it out and just see if anyone else has thought the same thing. Same goes with the hair too. It just, I don't know, something about it looks a little off to me, but of course I'm not going to judge it yet because this is a GIF. So it's also possible that the quality of it could be lower as well, because before with Maggie, we received a 4K video, you know, that was uploaded and I was sent those videos too, and they were much higher quality. So maybe it is just that, I don't know. Judging by the top comments, the community seems to be really excited and is definitely looking forward to the game. You guys are incredible, I can't wait. Let me buy this game already. I came as fast as I could. The graphics kind of look like the Walking Dead Telltale graphics. Oh yeah, I see it, 100%. And I love that art style. Heterochromia from the start, that other game could never. I mean, it wouldn't be the PARALIVES comments with that little bit of shade now, come on, but seriously. Generally, it seems like most people are excited for this. All right, moving on to some other news. I missed this previously, but I'm gonna show it on here right now. Maggie is all dressed up for Halloween this year. Crows and ravens beware. I don't know how I missed this. This has almost 6,000 likes, 64,000 views on PARALIVES' Twitter account. And this is a video of, see now, this is what I'm talking about. It definitely, like, even though Twitter is probably compressing the living shit out of the quality because anytime you upload a video on Twitter, it just puts it 480p. Even with this, it still looks a lot better than that GIF. So I'm starting to really think that it was just that GIF because this definitely looks a lot better. And this isn't even in the full quality that you would see when you're playing the game. Also, look at the animations and the details on the movements. Oh my gosh. Also, it's kind of subtle too, but there are hair physics, so you can see as she's breathing, you can even see the hair just moving slightly, ever so slightly. Oh, and I love the details with the facial animations, with the facial expressions too. Like, look at the way like when she turns, you see like her, yeah, like look at her like cheek pushing up. Oh, that looks so good. Oh, I'm so excited. I need this in my life like right now. Especially when she's holding her arms out and she like moves her hands, you can see her fingers animating, kind of like ragdoll, you know, like they're actually animating, right? And they're not like stiff like that, you know? I could go on about this forever, but I am not going to. Well, I can really see how much everything has improved. Good job to everyone on the PARALIVES team. Can't say she's exactly looking good, but I love the attitude. Maggie's already evolved quite a bit over time, hasn't she? Please add shadows to the body also. Oh yeah, that's definitely a big request that I'm going to have for sure. Shadows are a big thing for me in video games. Want to see what Daddy Sebastian is gonna be for Halloween too? What do you think? Oh my gosh, I'm not surprised. I'm not surprised one bit. There is also a brand new Patreon post that was just made public recently. This was actually made back in July, but it is now available for everyone. So now I can talk about it in my video. Dev Diary, how to create a new piece of furniture from scratch, and you can too. Hello everyone, it's Leia. I'm taking over for a brand new development diary. This week I'm going to tell you a little bit about how we create a piece of furniture or object that you can place into your home in PARALIVES. This post is for patrons only, so please don't share it, thank you. Edit, this post is now public. I'm going to introduce you to the different steps needed for the leather straps chair that you can see in the Shala video. This chair is one of the easiest objects you could integrate into the game, as it isn't resizable and it hasn't any fancy properties. If you're a beginner in 3D and want to make custom content for the game, starting with an object like this could be a good way to learn how to use our mod system. So yes, they are going to be providing a mod system for you, the player, to create custom content for the game. So they're already taking what's possible in many games, the modding system and the modding community, and they're making it 10 times easier for you, so that's exciting. This is not really a tutorial since it will need to be quite longer than a Patreon post. When PARALIVES will be released and the mod system fully ready, we will create step-by-step tutorials for you aspiring or experienced custom content creators. So you will be able to say that you created this chair from scratch. Everything starts with a mood board. So a few months back, Alex gave us the green light to start working on the design of the chalet. Hopefully I'm saying that right. The tools were ready for us and we can now focus on what the chalet would look like, what furniture Sonia and I were going to create for the game. We started by creating a mood board, which is a set of visual references that became our best friend for the next steps to come. I looked for cool ideas and made a collage of every piece of furniture that I thought would look good in the game. Having all this furniture lined up helped us choose and narrow down the choices that we had. It also gave the team an idea of the direction that we were taking. If you are looking for an easy way to create mood boards, Sonia and I using PureRef, a free software that is heavily used in the industry. So here is a look here of the mood board. Warm tones, wood, modern. So this was the general idea and the general vibe of what they were trying to create in the game. So next is the sketching and staging stage. This step is important because we are working as a team. I started by doing a quick sketch of the design I had in mind for the room so that we could have a starting point for our discussions. Then we could choose together what to modify if needed. Here, our goal was to stage the object, put it in the room with the others to see if they go well together. We also used it to work on the color palette. If you are designing several pieces of furniture to create a small collection, this step could be interesting for you. That way, you can make sure that everything is assorted and in the same vibe. That is a very important step because you can make a bunch of things and all of them look so great separately, you know? But then as soon as you combine them all and put them all in the same room, you're like, oh, well, what happened? It looks terrible together. So that is such a big part of the process, is making sure that these are cohesive and that they can fit and flow together. The first sketch that I did wasn't in the right, in quotes, mountain mood for the chalet. I went full 70s. We decided that it wasn't the look we wanted for the video and chose to have something more rustic, changing the objects, deleting those who were too fancy. So the first sketch of the dining room is shown right here, off topic, but really likes the results. Too 70s and trendy. Needed to be more rustic and authentic to match the chalet vibes. last sketch after retakes. And you can see here the difference is pretty big. This definitely looks much better. So what changed? Darker colors, raw materials, and adding mountain clutter, making the object in 3D. Okay, the design has been approved and now it's time to create the chair. At the studio, the software we use for 3D modeling is Blender. It's very convenient for us as it's completely free. There's an extended community and lots of resources online. If you want to learn 3D and become a modder, you could use Blender to create your objects for the game just like we do. There are a lot of tutorials on YouTube. I won't go into details on how to build the chair in 3D, but I can explain why I chose to do what I did. So inside Blender, what the chair really looks like. We use a simplified version of Charlie to check if the pieces of furniture have the right proportions. Meet simple Charlie. They can't move around or get up or do anything other than sit there, but they are really helpful. So even though they're not doing anything, they're giving the creator the feedback that they need basically to make the chair exactly the way it needs to be made. As you can see, I didn't sculpt every strap of the chair. Instead, I chose to have it inside the texture with some transparency. That way, I'm keeping the object really simple. The design of the chair is clean, but needs to have personality, just like in the reference. So I added details and curved the legs, for example. The next step is UV unwrapping. Basically, we need to tell the texture how to place itself nicely on the different points of the object. Time to export the chair. Our system uses .fbx format for our objects, which is a pretty standard format for 3D models. Let's draw those straps. This step is happening inside another software made specifically to draw textures on 3D objects. It's called Substance Painter. Substance Painter allows you to draw directly on the object, so I could choose where I wanted the straps to go, adding the shadows and lights. I kept it simple because the texture will be recolorable in the game, assuming with the color wheel. So you can make this any color you want, which is also another exciting thing. So here's a picture of the painting of the straps in Substance Painter. Integrating the object inside the game. Okay, this is it. We have our chair, the texture, and everything we need for it. It's time to put it in the game. As you may already know, we are developing tools to allow future content creators to easily integrate new objects to the game. As developers, we are using these tools ourselves. That means custom content creators will have access to the same set of powerful and flexible tools and will be able to add objects to the game just as a developer would do. To be able to have the chair in the game and purchase it while playing and building a house, it needs to be converted into a prefab, which is what we call a ready-to-use game item in Unity. The prefab contains the model and texture we just created, but also extra settings to tie it all together and make it a playable object. It's here that the various elements of an object can be added. For the chair, we have the wood parts and the straps, both added as children of the empty root. On each part, it's possible to add components with the texture needed and specify it's recolorable. For more complex objects, other components are available for various purposes. For resizability is resizable, scalability is scalable, if it's an object on the wall item, or if it's stackable is stackable, and many more. So here's a picture of the Prefab Editor. These tools and menus are still a work in progress. Our goal is to make them as easy as possible for use for developers and custom content creators. In the future, you will be able to add components linked to the playability of the object. Is it just a clutter item? Can you sit on it? This is where we're going to specify these details once the live mode will be ready. After this step, we can add the chair to the in-game furniture catalog, set its price, and we are ready to go. So here's another picture here, adding the chair inside the item catalog menu. This is seriously so exciting. I love how they're making it so easy for just the regular person to add something into the game. Like, they're literally showing you and giving you a tutorial. Even though this is really nothing compared to what they're going to do later on, like they stated earlier, how there are going to be tutorials. This game is going to be just everything. Like, I don't even know how to put it into words. They want players to create their own content for it. It's going to be a custom content creator's paradise. Like, we're gonna have a lot itself from the developers, but CC creators are just gonna have a field day too. It's gonna be amazing. The chair is in PARALIVES, and we are done. We can now purchase the chair in the catalog, place it in the chalet, and recolor it the way we want, as you can see here with the color wheel. Some objects are more complex, the case of ceilings objects. Ceiling objects are really fun and satisfying to play with since you can customize the wall height and add platforms. It makes sense to allow you to adjust the height of objects placed on the ceiling. To do that, we are using the resize feature created by Jeremy, still a work in progress that we use on every object that needs to be extended, like the dining table or the bed. And yeah, confirmed previously, you can extend objects and make them bigger without having a custom object. We've seen it before with some of the earlier video clips with the bunk beds and all. The first step takes place in Blender, where we need to add loops at the area we want to stretch. A loop is a line that goes perfectly around the object, either vertical or horizontal. We will then go back in the game and tell where the loops are for it to be able to find the area and stretch it in the direction we want. At the moment, this step is quite hard to do. Jeremy helped us a lot with it for the video. We are working on improving the system so that it will be easy and intuitive for the modders. So here's a picture here. You can see in Blender, this part will be stretched, and then as a result in the game, when you stretch out the object, you can see the lamp is now a lot longer or a lot shorter, but in Blender, it just appears as something small. Just like we did for the chair, we are integrating the object in the Prefab Editor, and we will specify that this item is resizable by adding the corresponding components. We also added the ceiling item component to it so that it can be placed on the ceiling instead of on the ground like the chair. We want the lamp to stretch only on the vertical axis, so we are only changing the Y values of the minimum and maximum size. Here, the maximum size is 1.5 M, but it can be changed if we need to, as you can see here in this diagram. I love how they're showing us everything. It's so cool. Once we add it to the catalog, we're ready to go. This system is used on various ceiling objects and can be used to create cool compositions like the ceiling lamps in the kitchen. And we saw that previously in one of the videos that they showed us here. Different sizes for the fireplace and also different sizes for the lamps right here. Resizable ceiling assets, that's what they like to call them. That's all for me. I hope you had a good time reading this development diary. Do you want to know more about it? Tell us in the comment section. I hope it will inspire some of you to create amazing custom content for the game. Take care. From Leia. This post is now public. So that's gonna be it, guys. Let me know what you think about all this news down in the comment section below. I'm super excited for PARALIVES. Like I said at the beginning of the video, there is still no date, still no release date for this. But of course, if there is any news, I will be bringing it right to you guys. And I do predict that we will begin seeing things on live mode very soon. Judging by the looks of things, I feel like we're going to start seeing things on live mode next year in 2022, crossing our fingers that comes to fruition. But let me know what you think of everything I talked about in today's video down below. I love you guys so much. Thanks for clicking and watching, and I'll see you all next time. So long and happy simming. Bye everyone. This video was brought to you by my supporters on Patreon. Thank you guys so much for your support. If you'd like to join my community over there, a link is below. Thank you for watching.